Hello, and welcome to Week 5 of Metalearning, a class by the Guild of the Rose. This week's class will be on the concept of stakes and about encoding. An example that Tim Ferriss uses in his book, The 4-Hour Chef, is that when Odysseus was passing the island of Sirens, he had his crew tie him to the mast so that no matter what he wanted during the seductive song, he wouldn't be able to go to them. We want to be able to do the same. We want to put something in our future so binding or so potentially painful that we have no choice but to ignore the seductions of being lazy and distracted and choose the course that we have. An important caveat to this is an old Russian saying, "The same hot water that hardens the egg softens the potato." Not everyone will react to stress and stakes the same way, and this needs to be calibrated to your own personal comfort levels. The goal here is not to destroy you or stress you out or make this a burden, but to make sure that you have a clear goal and a reason for doing this. I prefer to frame it as an exciting opportunity to show people what I've learned, to give people a real reason for learning, and to show my gratitude. An example from this speaker's personal life is when trying to learn how to cook, I ended up getting into cooking contests with my particular roommates. They both had experience in culinary school and restaurants, and that was very intimidating to me. But as I got better every week, I knew whether or not I would win, I would improve. But because I had a weekly goal, I forced myself to look up and learn a little bit more every week. These stakes don't have to be high. The only people who ate our food were us and 3 friends. If you're learning the guitar, imagine creating a scenario where you decide that in 6 months you want to give your friend a song for their birthday. You don't even have to tell them. But by having a real goal or stakes, especially one that interrelates with other people, you are much more likely to stick to it even when you would feel discouraged. Because humans often will lack obligation for themselves, but we're very social creatures. The other part is now that you know what your goal is and when you have to be done, and you have all this basic information on your 1-page compression sheet and you've been practicing it, you have to encode this information into your mind. The easiest way to do this is to link nodes that are already very stable. You can do this by using acronyms. For example, DIS and CAFE are the 2 acronyms that Tim Ferriss came up for this meta-learning class. And even though they don't fit perfectly, they allow you to remember the basic idea. There are also things called acrostics, like never eat shredded wheat, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. The never eat shredded wheat is a representation of north, south, east, and west, and please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or PEMDAS, is the order of operations. Many people in statistical communities and psychological communities will be familiar with heuristics. This is a simple rule of thumb so that when you're learning a complicated piece of information, you ask yourself, what is the most likely scenario 80% of the time, and instead of having to waste your energy every time trying to deduce what you should do, you use your heuristic. Linking it to something you know is also very useful, and when you have to remember things in order, another valuable trick is to use your geospatial memory. Our brains are much better at remembering locations and things in our environment than they are at remembering dates or numbers or names. So, choose a location you're very familiar with in your life. For example, your bedroom, someplace you could navigate even with your eyes closed, and picture putting objects there that represent what you're trying to learn. The sillier the object, the more likely it is to stick in your mind. There are hundreds of other encoding and memorization and memory tools out there, including Gnosis, a new program that will be coming out and working with members of the Guild of the Rose. If you're interested in anything we've taught so far, or in Gnosis, our new program, please check us out at guildoftheRose.org.